Now a few weeks ago I made a video talking about how Boruto might need to face the Otsutsuki god, and these gods are the gods Toneri was referring to that will invade the land. Now it got me thinking about how Boruto will be able to amass the amount of power needed to take on someone of the Otsutsuki god caliber, someone let's say having multiple Jogans, power above Ishiki himself. How will that be possible? Now it got me thinking about where Boruto will get such a power source from, and I think this theory might make sense. Now my theory is that Boruto and Kawaki might fuse or combine their powers in order to contest the Otsutsuki god. Now the fusion I mean is not about them just like going into their avatar states if they do develop one. I mean them literally combining their bodies together. Now I don't know by which mechanic that would be possible, but I do know that the writers can fashion up something to make it make sense. But the premise itself I'm just gonna lay out is them combining their bodies, similar to what Goku does with Vegeta to unlock the Gogeta form or Vegeta form. Now this combination or this fusion I think should be temporary. Now this can be permanent, which I doubt the fans would want to be the case, which was similar to the Vegito thing back in the Buu arc. If we go back to the Boruto series and the context of Naruto, there has been some like little sprinkles of the fusion technique throughout the series. Now we've had Kisame fusing with Samehada and becoming a shark beast, and we also have like Killer Bee literally like morphing his body into the body of the Eight Tails. Now that's to a lesser degree because he's like a Jinchuriki, so his body is combined with the chakra of the Eight Tails itself. But then again, we still know that the Eight Tails is a separate being from B, but yet still they're able to combine their bodies to work as one. You could also take the concept of Naruto fusing his Kurama avatar with Sasuke's Susanoo and becoming one being, becoming a more powerful being. Then you can even move on to Boruto, where we have Momoshiki turning Kinshiki into a chakra fruit and consuming his essence and upgrading his genetic material, as they said. Now that's kind of a different case because even though it's called Fuse Momoshiki, it wasn't really a fusion. He turned him into a fruit and consumed his power, right? So it's kind of a different concept. But you can see like where they have these concepts sprinkled throughout the Naruto universe to a lesser extent than compared to let's say like a Gogeta fusion in Dragon Ball Z. But the concept itself is baked throughout the series or sprinkled throughout the series, so they can pull from it and expound on the idea. And then again we move on to the Karma characters, Naruto and Kawaki having the Karma seal, and they've established this resonance thing that they have where their karmas resonate with each other and they're able to power up each other's Karma seal. So they've established a connection that these characters have to a deeper level where their power is so connected that they're able to boost each other's power just by being in the same vicinity. So I think it's definitely plausible where we might see later on, in order to contend with these Otsutsuki gods, that these guys fuse their power together. And then you can see that okay cool, Kawaki suspiciously has one dojutsu on the left side of his face while Boruto also has one dojutsu on the right side of his face. Now we know that Boruto will awaken the Jogan, so the Jogan will replace his Byakugan. Now we can theorize that if it is that the Otsutsuki gods or the Otsutsukis or the gods above the Otsutsukis, whatever they're called, will invade the land, and when they do, it might happen post time skip, which would mean that we're talking about a Boruto who already has the Jogan. So if the fusion technique were to take place in that time period, then we'll have like a Kawaki with Ishiki's dojutsu on the left, a Boruto with the Jogan on the right, fusing their essence together and becoming a more powerful being with a Jogan and Ishiki's dojutsu. And this is how we might see these characters now scaling towards these Otsutsuki gods. Otherwise it might not make much sense if Boruto at this power level is somehow able to contend with these Otsutsuki gods, unless they're gonna pull an Avengers Infinity War where these characters actually lose the invasion when the Otsutsukis come, and then we have like a sequel series or maybe like a couple episodes later a different arc where they redeem themselves and actually defeat the Otsutsuki gods. It can go that way, but they can also go the route where the Otsutsukis lose when they initially come to the planet. Now I hope they don't do that because that will like devalue the threat of the Otsutsuki. So I think that what they should do is, if they're gonna go the route where the Otsutsukis come to the earth and invade and whatever, come for Boruto. Maybe this is the spectacular event Momoshiki was referring to, as I alluded to in my video 2 weeks ago. So if the Otsutskis do come, let them lose, like let them defeat everyone, and maybe Toneri comes in, something happens and Toneri gets freed, or some Otsutskis contacts them and gives them knowledge of this fusion technique that they can do. Or maybe Toneri just knows a fusion technique that they developed that the Otsutsukis have no idea about, which is why they go the barbaric route of like turning the other dude into a fruit then consuming him, right? If they knew about like a simple fusion that they could just like do a fusion dance, I don't think they would have just like consumed each other. Right? I don't think that makes sense. So I think like maybe it's somebody else that's not an Otsutsuki, like not a real Otsutsuki, like let's say Toneri, Amado, or even Orochimaru. So that might happen, and I think it would make sense. Now a lot of people kind of push back against the idea of fusion because they don't want Boruto to be so much like Dragon Ball Z, because they feel like Boruto has taken too many concepts from Dragon Ball. Not Boruto, but the Naruto series in general. But I personally think they can make it work. I don't think like Dragon Ball owns the copyright on fusion techniques. I think fusion exists in multiple mediums, not Dragon Ball Z alone. So while they can make the connection, like it's not like Dragon Ball Z is the only series in fiction that has ever introduced the concept of fusing the essence of two characters together to create a new character or a stronger version of that character. So I do think Boruto can pull it off. Of course, the writers have to be very competent and be very careful with what they do. If it seems like an ass pull, then it will come off as an ass pull and people have a problem. But if they set it up and someone explains this kind of concept to them, I think someone who could possibly do that is Hagoromo. Now this dude had the power to like split the Ten Tails, take the Ten Tails chakra, split it into 9 separate beings, created like literally different consciousness for 9 separate beings, different personalities, different features. This dude is crazy, right? And Hagoromo himself isn't lost to the franchise. Like they can bring him back whenever they want to, because like this dude just has like omnipotent power. He can just visit them from the fucking Pure Lands whenever he wants to. So I do think like they can possibly like summon Hagoromo in some way, maybe. All they need is 6 Paths chakra. All they need is like the combination of Archer and Indra's chakra from Naruto and Sasuke, and get some Nine Tails chakra. They can find that somewhere, or they can use the bits of Nine Tails chakra that's in Naruto's reserves. There are multiple ways in which they can bring back this character. They just decide not to, right? There's a logic there. Although you could argue that maybe Naruto and Sasuke no longer possess the chakra of Archer and Indra, so they might not be able to do it. But as I say this is all up to the writers and what they want to do. If they want to do it, they will find a way to do it. If they don't want to, they will find a way to not do it. It's up to them. They're the writers. But I do think it's an interesting concept. I think we've seen a lot of power-ups in Naruto and Boruto, but we haven't seen like this type of power-up, like the two essence, the literal bodies of these characters fusing together temporarily or maybe like permanently. We've seen it sprinkled through with Killer B, you know, morphing with the 10 tail, with the 8 tails easily, no problem, and just morphing back. It's like their body, their cells are literally like connected or some shit. It's weird. No other tail beast is doing that shit for some reason. Although you could argue Gaara did it in part 1 because he's like half of his body Shukaku, half of it is not. You could argue the red cloak tails, the red cloak that they did with Naruto when he goes into the 4 tails, the 6 tails is similar, but that's just pure chakra, right? But we're talking about like Killer Bee literally manifesting the arms and the tails of the 8 tails, and it looks like it's just morphing from his body. That's like a different level to me personally. But yeah, I look forward to the power structure in Boruto changing if that's possible, and I think this might be a good way to do it. So let me know what you guys think about it in the comment section. Drop a like if you like the video. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section, yada yada yada. Subscribe if you're new, and yeah, support the channel if you want to. But above all else, have a great day. Peace out.